People ask me all the time, is Haiti cursed? And you hear from Pat Robinson, Keon Anderson, Pastor Keon over there in Texas, made a very derogatory statement or statements regarding Haiti being cursed during some sort of sermon he had. He received a lot of backlash. And by the way, his fiance is Shaq's ex-wife, but that goes besides the point. Wish them the best. Now, things that I have with Pat Robinson, who is also tied to illegal smuggling in Africa, allegedly. I don't know how that ended up, but he said in a TV, on TBN, he said on TV that Haiti was cursed, sold their soul, and this and that. That's why they're going through all these devastating situations, I guess you can say. But let me say this. Haiti has been battling not just the media, New York Times, Boston Globe, Chicago Chronicles, you name it, whatever other news companies out there, since the 70s and 80s, 90s, up to now, 2022. And whenever you are battling the media, you're in for an uphill battle because you're not going to win it. We all know that the Jewish companies own the media. They perpetuate certain misconceptions, different ideologies, philosophies, whatever, scheme they have going on or agenda that they want to push, whether they want the world to jump on COVID vaccinations, monkeypox, AIDS, whatever the case may be. Whatever they want to push when it comes to making money, they're going to push it. In Haiti's case, Haiti isn't cursed because the people sold their soul. They would rather tell you that because they don't want to give black people, that's the flag behind me, Haiti, they don't want to give black people credit for defeating the French, United States of America, Britain, and Spain in the game of chess. But at the time, it was war, hand-to-hand combat, led under the one and only General Toussaint Louverture of the Haitian Revolution. That was a 12-plus year war. But they rather give the credit to demonic spirits and selling the soul, drinking blood, and all this old craziness. You feel me? Not saying that there wasn't any voodoo ceremonies going on in Haiti at the time, at Bois Carrément, back in 1791. But the Haitian Revolution started before 1791. But that's besides the point. Even though August 17th, I believe, was the anniversary of Bois Carrément. The ceremony which means, Bois Carrément, for one, Carrément is the type of alligator or crocodile, and bois means stick, so you would say crocodile sticks, crocodile woods, where they met up and did a ceremony there to initiate the war against the French and whoever the oppressors were. But just like they credit Haiti's freedom, first and only country in world history, I can't emphasize that enough, to have actually, where you had the enslaved people defeat the oppressor, their slave masters, killed them, kicked them out the country, expelled them from the country, created their own country. They'd rather give that victory to voodoo rather than giving it to sheer intelligence and willpower, self-determination, like Marcus Garvey will always say. People who are self-determined, are able to accomplish anything that they put their minds to collectively. They'd rather do that. A credit to voodoo, just like in Kemet, they rather give the credit to building the pyramids and the different beautiful edifices and the structures and the creativity in Kemet, which is the land of the blacks, which is we call it Egypt, right? They rather give that credit to being able to do such a thing as creating these beautiful pyramids that have been lasting thousands and thousands, 20,000 plus years, to aliens rather than the sheer creativity of black people who were able to put their minds together. So you guys, those who are not privy to quality education or willing to educate themselves will go along with whatever the media is telling them. Whatever the media is pushing, that's what most people will go and run with because, hey, it's convenient. You know, it's easy just to go along with Haiti being the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, when in fact Haiti is not the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere or in the world. But Keon Henderson, who I'd love to have a conversation with, and I want to say, you know, I understand where the brother's coming from. I've never been in the business of, you know, talking down to a brother, especially somebody who's been on the grind like him. You know, we both are keynote speakers, travel the world, empowering people. I don't do it in the sense of, you know, using the Bible, but let's talk about the Bible. Dudi Bookman, Makandal, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, these three people who were part of the Haitian Revolution. Dudi Bookman coming from, I don't remember which country in Africa he was from. I want to say the Congo, but he was brought to Jamaica. And because he kept reading in Jamaica and was told not to be a good Negro, they shipped him to Haiti as punishment. Now, this is back in the 18th century, because everyone knew that Haiti had the harshest slave plantation system. Now, these three men that I mentioned, Dudi Bookman, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and Makandal, were leaders of the Haitian Revolution, right? And one thing they all had in common, to get rid of the God of the white man. Get rid of your worship and praise of the God of the white man. How can the same God that you are worshiping, you're praying to, you're reading the Bible about, be the one to condone the punishment, the servitude, the enforced servitude of your people, but you're praying to the same God that the white man, the Europeans, are praying to? Think about that. And fast forward, Marcus Garvey's on the same thing. If you're going to worship a God, worship a Jesus, let it be black Jesus. So these people were very culture conscious, something that we lack today. Now, me being Haitian, African Haitian, as I like to say, I understand my African roots. As a matter of fact, the way I got the name King Kevin Dorival is from knowing my African roots, studying the country, the homie, which is West Africa, today known as Benin or Benin. I've heard it pronounced several different ways. And knowing that this was a warrior kingdom that fought and defeated the world superpowers back in the 18th century. If Haiti is cursed, it's cursed because of French, American, Canadian intervention. They're cursed. Haiti is cursed with richness. How can the countries with the most resources in the world suffer the most? Think about that. Why is it the countries the most natural resources? And Haiti is filled with it. This is something that Pat Robertson is not going to tell you. Something that Pastor Keon Henderson is not going to tell you. Something that CNN is barely going to tell you. Something that the presidents of the United States are never going to tell you. They're not telling you that they're exploiting billions of dollars. And it's well documented, billions of dollars of gold, iridium, and oil out of Haiti every year. Haiti has all the answers to their problems, financial problems anyway, in the land. Not only is Haiti cursed with having a rich land, they're cursed with being attacked by the media. They're cursed with the U.S. intervention. As a matter of fact, those who do not know that Haiti is officially a colony of the United States, and it has been since 1915, when Theodore Roosevelt Woodrow Wilson gave the thumbs up in 1915 to invade Haiti, and Theodore Roosevelt ended up stopping in 1934. But you have a good, how many years is that? 30 years almost? 1915, 1934, 15, 16 years, whatever the math is. They literally robbed Haiti. Even before 1915, 1914, actually, when they first robbed the Haitian National Bank of $200,000+ in gold, which that's just millions of dollars back then, stole the money out of the Haitian National Bank, which is to be used to create roads, hospitals, support the education. That's why Haiti is a privatized education system. If you ain't got no money, you're not getting educated in Haiti. It's extremely privatized. Only a few free public schools, very few. This is why Haiti is cursed. Haiti is not cursed because it's a bad place. It's not cursed because it's, full of benign people. You have some of the most strongly willed people in Haiti. It's also cursed by the African Union, who refused to accept Haiti as part of the African Union. I had high respect for the African Union. But now I see they're run by European puppets. So as far as I'm concerned, Haiti is not cursed. Haiti is blessed. But until the U.S. takes its cursed, demonic hands, white supremacist hands, off of Haiti and allow the country to select its own president and leader, which America refuses to do. Case in point, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, who was elected president back in the 90s, 91, 92. Elected president by the people. He won over 70% of the votes, probably more than that. He wasn't president but 7 months, and he was ousted. Why? Because American foreign business interests, because of cocaine smuggling, trafficking. Haiti is also a narco state. It's a transshipment state, which means that Colombia, Venezuela, whatever these countries where the cocaine comes from, they could ship it, they could bring it to Haiti, let it chill in the docks, and be dispersed wherever it's going to go around the world. Because Haiti, because of the lack of government, thanks to the U.S., making sure that there's no structure in Haiti, so the corruption will keep going higher and higher and higher. Which is also possibly the reason why the president, former president, Joël Moïse, was assassinated, because he was supposedly was going to turn over a list of huge drug traffickers that were in Haiti. So it's big business to keep African, black countries deprived of government, sufficient funds for their farming, agriculture, making sure that things are in disarray, disorder. This organization is a sign of social injustice. When you have social injustice, no one's being brought to justice for the crimes and murders. General Cedras, who was in charge of the Haitian army at one point in time, and a few other individuals who might have killed thousands of Haitian people, never brought to justice, thanks to the United States of America, who make sure there's no justice in Haiti. Why? Because, one, if they continue to project that Haiti is poor, Haiti is the poorest country in the hemisphere, poor Haiti, let's ship shitload of rice over to Haiti, tons of rice to Haiti. But Donald Trump even said it himself in the news, Haiti's a shithole country. What he was really saying was that let's continue to dump all our goods into Haiti, keep Haiti poor, so that whenever there's any sort of intervention, whether it be the UN, whether it be the US, France, whatever, with any type of foreign intervention, is for the good of the people. When in fact, it's to make sure that we are able to exploit as much as we can and as much as we desire out of Haiti. Keep our people, keep United States rich, keep France rich. As a matter of fact, believe it or not, here's two things. One, the 2010 earthquake that happened in Haiti was not a natural earthquake. This was a man-made earthquake. This was made by them searching for oil and gold in Haiti. They killed over 250,000 people, most of them Haitian. Maybe about 1,000 of them, we know, were from different countries, from U.S., France, Canada, Germany, whatever, NGOs, nonprofits. Number two, France. I'm going to make a much larger video. I just want to throw some things out there. The Eiffel Tower in France, that tower was built with Haitian money during the slave trade. And that thing costed millions of dollars to build. Millions of dollars to build. The number one tourist attraction in the world was built with Haitian money. France refuses to acknowledge the how they kept Haiti poor by this indemnity tax that they enforced on Haiti. Wanted them to pay 150 million francs for the fight for their freedom because they won their freedom against them, to pay back to slave owners for losing their properties and lives, which they conveniently reduced it to 90 million gold francs. And it took Haiti damn near 100 years to pay it off. Just recently paid off, maybe 20 years ago. Think about it. We must stop thinking and going along with the narrative, whether it be Haiti or the different countries in Africa. But believe me, poverty is making somebody rich. And it ain't us. So unless we unify and have collective consumption, collective production of things, clothes, food, supporting our businesses collectively, we will continue to enrich the oppressors. And if we don't do this, we will see Haiti and other countries in the same boat as Haiti to be poor and impoverished for another 500 plus years. My next book is called France's and America's 1,000-Year War Against Haiti, The Assassination of a Country, which will be released in 2023. And I'm currently on tour, the Black Legacy Tour, to stop the inhumane treatment and illegal policies towards Haiti. And so the next city I'll be in will be in Savannah. And so I'm hoping, I'm looking forward to more support, looking to put out more content out there. I'll be in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm working on Boston, working on California, and also New York, to speak and work collectively with other Black organizations. If we don't change the policies in Haiti, nothing will ever change. If we don't change the policies that's towards Haiti, I don't care how many nonprofits, how many NGOs, how much food you donate into Haiti, how many volunteers out there doing good things to Haiti. If we don't change these policies, dealing with the U.S. Congress, we are chasing our tails. The power is in the politics. And getting these congressmen and women to change some of these policies, particularly the Farm Bill Act, where they are dumping tons of rice into Haiti, knocking off the farmers, not just rice, but also peanuts, knocking off these rice and peanuts farmers in Haiti, straight out of business. How can the country whose staple is rice? Think about it. China would never allow the U.S. or any country to dump their rice into China or in Japan. They won't do it. You know why? Because they understand that's a staple of their economy. There are millions of farmers in these countries, and they make millions, perhaps billions of dollars in rice. Why would I let a country dump their rice into our country? See, Haiti, as long as Haiti remain disorganized, remain in chaos, due to the hands of these foreign intervention, these white hands, these shadowy hands, these puppets pulling the strings, as long as U.S. is allowed to select who becomes president, you know what I'm saying? Who gonna be the good nigga to do what our beck and call, what we want to pass, what we want to make happen. As long as they're able to do that, Haiti will remain in its backward state. Haiti was the first to rise, and it has become the first to fall, which means soon Haiti will rise again. It's in a bad position right now, the country, but it's also in a good position. I'm very optimistic. If you've read any of my books before in the past, you know I'm very optimistic. I'm always thinking in a positive light. seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. If Haiti is allowed, now that Haiti is pretty much very low economically and spiritually, the people are being depleted of their spirit or the willingness to live because of the tragedies that are going on in Haiti, the economic situation going on, starvation. I had a cousin just now moved and left Haiti. Now he lives in Bahamas. He moved out to try to support his family because there's no jobs. And he ain't Cap Haiti, which is the northern part of Haiti, which was the last battle of the Haitian Revolution took place. Right? Besides that, I can't wait to go back to Haiti. I can't wait to continue pushing along this Black Legacy Tour, stop the inhumane treatment and illegal policies towards Haiti. You can support me through my GoFundMe. You can find the GoFundMe on my website, KevinDorival.com. I'm not too hard to find. I would love to come and speak at your community center. I'd love to come speak at your school, your church, your community, whatever. This is a marathon, not a race. Haiti being so low right now. You know what I'm saying? Haiti being so low as far as international, being able to compete internationally. So low as in the government, economics, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a perfect place to build, to get a strong foundation and build up higher. That's what I'm saying. Because once you low, it's not about how you fail. It's about how you get back up and stay up. Now, Haiti's a perfect position to get up and stay up and to reject these negative connotations through the media. I'm just one of these Haitians that's not going to sit back and let the world just step and just stomp all over Haiti like it's some kind of, punching bag. When this is the country that fought and freed all your ancestors, whether it's Africa, whether in the Caribbean, whether you were in America, Haiti, Latin America, Haiti freed damn near half the world. And the Europeans and Napoleon, especially, being, the father of white supremacy, he said himself, we must stop the march of the blacks. When he was talking specifically about General Toussaint Louverture and the leaders of the Haitian Revolution, King Henry Christophe, Lieutenant Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and the rest of them. He wanted to make sure that they did not continue to free the enslaved around the world. Because guess what? They made billions of dollars off the backs of our ancestors. I don't care where the slave ship stopped. They made billions upon billions tax-free upon the blood of our ancestors. And they won't even give us reparations or even think that the ghettos of America today, the violence that we're seeing today, like as if it has nothing to do with what happened 400-500 years ago. Our families were separated, dissected, divided. You know what I'm saying? Most of our relationships we have today are slave relationships. Whether it be in corporate America or in our homes. Slave marriages. Where we had to seek the white man's permission to get a position, to get married, to have babies, to have children. We're still serving the white man because we got to go to work. To do what? Got to go to school to do what? To get a better job on the plantation. Many of you are not even encouraged to start your own businesses. I'm seeing a big trend of us start our own businesses, which is great. Which is awesome. Because I own my own business, SkyCleanAirServices.com. Renovate and mold remediation here in Atlanta, Georgia, and all around Georgia. And matter of fact, I could travel anywhere to handle my business for my team and my company. Because I know I'm not a good Negro. I am the revolution. The revolution is me. Blessings.